Hello. Good morning for some, good afternoon. I'm going to have Alice, who from Global Mamas is going to be joining me. So let me just um, take care of that. Join us here. And today we are going to be talking about supply chains and the pandemic. Hey!
Did we work?
Huh?
Did we make it work?
We made it work. Hold on, I'm adjusting my I have this janky tripod that I'm trying to get it straight. I might be a little bit crooked, but that's okay.
You look great.
How are you doing?
I am well. How have you been doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good. You look lovely. Is that one of your new dresses?
It's not new actually. It's one of the spring dresses, but I've been enjoying wearing it. So,
It's a nice color. I was just looking at your fall stuff. I need to get something.
oh, good. Thank you.
I've
Thank you. You
always
guys have a bunch of new fall stuff too.
We do. Yeah, probably more new stuff than we typically do for fall. So that was a shift for
Oh,
us.
wow. Wow.
Yeah. Usually do like, existing products and new prints.
Uh-huh.
So that was a shift. That was new to add. I think we added 3 new products.
That's
So
great.
it
Yeah.
was it was good times.
So before we jump in too much, I'll have you just introduce yourself really quickly for everybody.
Hi, thanks for having me, Katie. I am Alice Grau, and I am the creative director at Global Mamas. And I have been working with the organization for 13 years. Started out as a volunteer and worked in Ghana for a time, and have worked at our uh, office in Minneapolis. And now I work from home in Michigan. So that's a little bit about me.
Yay! And I'm Katie, and I like to say one of the co-designers because our team in India does a lot of designing of Passion Lily, and we are a fair trade and sustainable brand. And yeah, so I guess we'll just go ahead and dive right in.
Let's do it.
Um,
Get to the
okay, so we have some kind of big topics to talk about, but we thought that they were important for you to hear our answers, kind of understand what's going on and how the pandemic is affecting our businesses. Also, I think it's interesting to point out that how long has Global Mama's been in business?
We're coming on 20 years. I think we're at
Okay.
19 right now.
Wow. Yeah. So I think it's important for people to know as we have this conversation that Passionately has been in business for we're like on coming on 9 years and you're on 19, 20 years.
Mhm.
Obviously a very experienced business and Passionately is like in the medium line and still we're still facing these issues, so it's not like a um, just something that new businesses are
Or
experiencing.
that big businesses, I think that's been a little bit of a mindset too, is that these issues are impacting, the conglomerates, but not the little brands, but we're being impacted too. So I think that's important to note.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah. So if you want to jump in and tell me a little bit about how the pandemic has affected your supply chain and your team in Ghana, and more specifically, how being a fair trade business, you've had to respond to those issues.
So, as far as like the pandemic in general affecting Global Mamas, I mean, like everybody, we had to shut down for a time. Certainly not as badly as India was hit. We didn't have to go into shutdown for, I think it was 2 weeks in Ghana that we did, and we've been able after those 2 weeks to get back to pretty much full production. Yeah, I mean, our order quantities are occasionally down. We were able to get a grant to make masks initially for distribution within Ghana, and then eventually we were able to start exporting those to Germany and the US. But so we've been fortunate more or less to keep producing along the way. But of course, as we're now getting to these further down the chain impacts. I think a lot of companies are really now just getting hit in the last 6-ish months, that we're now seeing issues, of course, with shipping tankers being held up in ports, and trucker shortages in the US and Europe, and of course we're having lack of employees in different manufacturing sectors. So that's coming, and of course increasing costs, all of this, right, is now starting to trickle down to different brands. So for us, the initial place we were starting to see this was with our cotton, with, of course, is one of our most important raw materials to be able to make the fabric that we then batik on. So we, in conversation with the wonderful production facility that we partner with to get that fabric, the raw white material, we were hearing from them almost a year ago, that because of farmer shortages and, the delays that were happening in India at the time because of shutdown, prices are going to increase, supply has been down, demand is going to go up. So we're expecting prices. And I'm sure this is stuff you're seeing with your suppliers in India as well. And so, we were fortunate enough because of our mask grant to have some fabric on hand. So it hasn't hit us yet, but we're preparing for spring 2022 collection for that cost to really impact that production. But as far as, so that our new order that will be coming in will be paying, I think, about a 30% increase on fabric. And so, of course, that's going to increase the final cost of the products that we sell. And then as far as more immediately, what we've been having issues with, and metal has been a challenge, I think, across all manufacturing. And so we use, metal frames and wire in our ornaments. And so we haven't been able to get this very specific kind of bendable wire that we use. And so now, like, our most popular ornaments for this time of year of all times, we're not able to produce them. And so we put these cute new ornaments up, and we had these cute cute dinosaur ornaments, and those sold out so fast, and we can't replenish them because we can't access this wire. And we've been looking all over, and they're just the market people who sell it are saying, sorry, it's just not, we can't get it, so we can't give it to you. And then dye has been the other thing. We always buy dye from market sellers, and so we're prepared for some variation. But what's been happening is there hasn't been new dye coming in, and so what's on the market is old, or it's like weird colors, and so or market sellers are mixing colors to try to get, like, we haven't been able to find a good brown, and brown is part of our fall collection and our coming spring collection. And so, and it's, what do you do, right? So like, do we cut the color that we love, or do we try to, import something? How are we going to solve this? So those are the three very specific ways that the supply chain challenges have been impacting us recently. How about you? I know we've talked about the fabric, but have you been having issues with dye or anything else?
For us, the dye so far we haven't had an issue with. But yeah, the fabric has definitely been a huge issue. We had to purchase fabric for fall right when that cotton shortage that you were talking about happened. And so we placed our order in like the beginning of 2021, thinking like normally it takes like 45 to, like, when we contact the mills, it's like 45 to 60 days.
Yeah.
We'll have our fabric in hand. And then of course there was the shutdown in India again in 2021 for like 2 months.
Yes.
And so there's like a navy jersey fabric that we use. We always use navy jersey.
Uh-huh.
And like, the color shouldn't be hard, it's navy jersey. And they had issues with that. And we also had to use a different supplier because I thought that the one that we used, they would take too long. So we used another person, and they took even longer. And we just kept getting to this point where they're like, it'll be ready the next day, it'll be ready the next day. And I mean, it was just weeks and weeks. And so we still have 3 or 4 styles that are not going to be arriving till like mid-November, which is crazy because normally we would be shipping these in like August or September.
Yes.
And so, yeah, that's where we're at that same point now where we're like, we're emailing the people that place the pre-orders and, either we cut it or you wait for it. And that's really our only option.
Yeah. And we get into this tough spot because we've ordered these goods, they're coming, whether or not. But at some point we're kind of reaching a point of diminishing returns with our retail partners, right? Like they can't sell these goods that, are really only good for like late summer, early fall into at least like where I am, when you get into the height of snow, nobody wants a cotton dress,
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah. I mean, we're in the same boat. We're both selling cotton, and like some of these are even short sleeve styles that are like perfect for that early fall, but
September, but for December, maybe not.
Right. Yeah. And then we had like, even apart from that navy jersey, everything was delayed. So like all of our fabrics and the block printing unit, everybody was closed for like, I think it was like almost 2 months. I might have that. It might be a month. I can't. It's like time now. But like everything. So everything was delayed. And we do a reactive dye process. And with that, we have to have sun for the colors to develop.
Yeah.
And if it's raining, it really messes it up. I think you kind of rely on sun too.
Same thing. Yeah. We rely on sun and fresh air and
so like it delayed our someone said 2 months is right. Okay, thank you. So delayed all of our printing and pushed it, and then monsoon season, we never know when it's gonna be, but the rain started, our fabric arrived and everything, and then they started printing in batches as like, okay, today's sunny, we'll print a little bit, we'll steam a little bit. And then that became really unproductive for them, right? Because they're not using their time as best as they can.
Yeah.
And then our tailors on the other end, they were like, we were giving them fabric and then they were stitching instead of like getting all the fabric. I mean, you know how it is. Ideally you cut in bulk. And so, we like lost cost across the board on all of that. So
it's so challenging. And I mean, and then you add on the unreliability with the weather as it gets worse and worse, and you don't know what to expect. Like same thing in Ghana, we have we have a rainy season, and if we're still trying to produce into that, and the rainy season used to be a very clear, like kind of a month to 2 months, and then now it's like, why is it raining in August? What's happening right now? Would hit in like October, and now we're like getting rain at really weird times, and so we can't plan around that. The weather unreliability and everything else, it's making all sorts of challenges from every direction.
Right. Yeah, our block printing unit, they did a bunch of repairs so that for the rains and the flooding, and so they wouldn't have to deal with it, and they're still getting flooding because it's just the water, there just keeps getting more and more water.
Yeah. Is that I was going to ask something, but it escaped me, so continue on. Sorry.
So that was, so for us it was mostly the biggest issue has been the fabric, and that delayed the block printing and forcing us to print. Someone said we've had monsoons in October and that's never happened. So we were printing in the middle of the rain, and then shipping, like we ship by air, but then and normally it's like, for us at least, it's like 4 business days pretty much. Mm-hmm. And one of our fall shipment that came in September took like 2 weeks to arrive.
Yeah. The shipping time's longer, but also have you found that the costs are increasing too? As oil costs are going up, we're now finding that, I mean, we had to ship some samples from our fabric maker in India, and the shipping cost was, I mean, more than the fabric. It was so expensive to just get, 30 yards coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was not great.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. Yeah, the shipping has gone up. And so I guess which leads me to my next question is, I mean, clearly we both, our customers should know that we're going to have to increase our prices because of all these
Yeah.
things. And so are there any products that are going to be in that you foresee being discontinued or in short supply because of this?
Well, our ornaments for sure.
Hmm.
We're having that already, and so we're trying to see what we can do to rectify that before the holiday season wraps up. But coming forward into the spring, I mean, we don't know yet, but everything that we make comes from this one kind of fabric, right? So if we can't get enough of it, there's certainly a potential for it to impact the number of products that we're able to carry and produce, which ultimately impacts the number of seamstresses and boutikers that we're able to keep busy. And so it all trickles down and impacts everybody.
Domino effect.
Yeah, exactly. And I just random aside, but I just realized that I am on my personal account and not my Global Mamas account, and I don't know how I manage that. But should I switch over, or does it matter at this point? Do we just keep rolling?
I think we just keep rolling at this point.
Cool. So
Yeah.
yeah, we'll share it, and we can share it to our Global Mamas account. I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't know why I thought I had switched over to the Global Mamas account, but here we are. Anyways,
That's okay.
yeah. So, and I mean, obviously, it's already impacting what you have been able to supply as well.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, I'm actually, I was really afraid this summer. Sometimes I get to like this, like, oh my gosh, like worst case scenario. And I was like, we're not going to have a fall collection. We're just not going to have a fall collection.
Yeah.
So I have to be thankful that we got the products that we got, but definitely we underproduced and we had to cancel a lot of orders. And
Yeah.
we're trying to put a lot of things in place, like ordering way ahead of time and focusing on products that are easier to get, so that hopefully we don't run into too many issues. And yeah, and what I was gonna say earlier too about the mills is that for us, and I'm not sure if you experienced this, but or maybe hopefully you don't, but our challenge too is they didn't want to supply to us because we're just too small of a company, and they were focusing on these big brands.
Right. We haven't yet experienced that, but I won't be surprised if we might hit that. I mean, our fabric manufacturer is a small family run business, so I think that helps, that they have the mindset of, appealing to businesses like ours. But yeah, I mean, I can understand that pressure, even as we are suppliers, right, to stores. It's
Yeah.
like, do you go to the one who's purchased the large order, or the one that bought four things, right? Like,
Right.
there's always that challenge when you have the supply and demand out of whack like that. So far, no, but maybe with the wire, who knows if something like that has happened. Maybe there's another manufacturer that was buying it in larger quantities and they just gave it all to them, so then there wasn't any left for us. But as far as we're aware yet, we don't know that has impacted us.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's hard. I mean, and then of course, even too, like being able to plan out for our stores, a lot of our store partners, and I don't know if you've seen this yet, but a lot of our store partners are starting to really push shopping for Christmas now.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever, like whatever people are preparing to celebrate in these coming months, they're saying shop now, because I mean, even the USPS and FedEx, everybody's saying prepare that things will need to ship earlier. So, plan your orders earlier. And so, people are buying stuff now, like they want it in store now, whereas normally they might not want it in store until, October or November, as they're getting closer to gifting time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, because I think usually your fall collection's a little more compared to Passionately, like we focus more on apparel. I think you focus more on gifts, so you're more familiar with that.
Yeah, we do a like a small apparel collection for like late summer, early fall, but we do a full home and gift catalog that comes out in about August, meant, for the gifting and, nesting season essentially.
Yeah.
We've seen that shift where, stores are wanting items earlier this year than maybe they would typically get them. So,
Yeah.
but it's like, so we don't know, like, will the sales that we typically see in October come to fruition, or is that all happening now? Or, I'm sorry, in November come to fruition, or is it all happening now? And we're not going to see, that come later because everybody's done with their shopping. We don't know. It's all.
Yeah. That's an interesting point too, I think, is like budget planning now. And I'm like starting to see that because I'm having to order fabrics so far in advance that and we have to pay fabrics up front, we have to
Yeah.
pay our people, we don't like we pay them when they do the work, and they get in advance. So I'm like trying to it's like everything I had, a system, and now that system is just like
There is no system anymore. There's no system for anybody. I mean, we're all just making it up. Everything is so out of whack that we don't know. I mean, we were just talking, our marketing and sales team was just talking, I don't know, a month ago, and we're like, how do we even make a goal? When we don't know what to base it on to go forward,
right,
And there's
right.
so many factors that come into play that we just can't control.
Yeah, 100%.
Like how? I don't know, but we just keep moving, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the key is like keep moving forward, keep being inventive in terms of like what can we offer, and of course like keeping up with our ethics and our mission.
Number one. I mean, and because of the way that our businesses function, I mean, have you found it more challenging to function that way, or like because of the, relationships and commitments that you have, do you feel like that has been more challenging, or has it made it easier because it's very clear about what the main goal is?
I think both. I think like for example, sourcing the cotton, we had the option to get non-organic jersey cotton, but because we had already switched over,
Mm-hmm.
it felt like going backwards.
Right.
And so we didn't do that.
Yeah.
So that was definitely like a time where it was clear to me what the choice was, but the choice meant a challenge for our supply chain.
Yeah.
But I feel like with the team that we work with, and I feel like going through this all together is easier because we're all small businesses. We all like know at the end of the day that we want to support each other. So even though we're all challenged, we're able to like come together. And I mean, like one whole like thread we had was just like UPS is the worst. Like I know, and just like having that like little bit of like, I don't know, camaraderie and like amidst of chaos, and them not being like some big factory that they're just like, we're dropping you because you don't have your fabric, we're dropping you,
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. It is challenging in that respect to, there's just all the pieces that we're fighting so hard to stay committed to the ethics. So committing to those ethics will inevitably make it more challenging, right? You have to wait longer because, the niche product you want isn't available anymore, but you're committed to that. And then, on the flip side of that, right, we're selling less because
Mm-hmm.
product available, but we're still committed to providing work
Yeah.
for our artisan partners.
Yeah.
So it's like it's like we are selling less because we have less to produce because we don't have the supplies, but we also want to make sure everybody's still continuing to work, and that isn't easy. But I agree that having that having the relationship, the commitment to each other does in some respects make it easier because we're all going through it together. And thank God for our store partners, you know,
Mm-hmm.
all of the retail partners who have been just, you know, fighting tooth and nail to stay open and continue, you know, to push whatever product they can get their hands on, you know, even if it is smaller quantities or, you know, something different than they originally wanted.
Yeah.
We wouldn't
Yeah.
be doing this without them, would we?
Oh, I know, totally. I felt so bad when, you know, shipping out my orders and everything was delayed, and I was about to send a message, and I was like, due to, because we also had Ida in the middle of this, so I was like, due to a pandemic and a hurricane, and I was like, this is just too much. Like,
Wow. Like what am I writing right now?
yeah. But I really felt Kate from Resurrect responded to you know, I had said like, your order's going out, so sorry, and I just loved her response because she was like, it's okay, I understand, like I can't even believe you actually got these out, and I was like, thank you.
They get it. They get it. And in a very personal way because they've faced, you know, a lot of it along with us.
Right.
So we're so grateful for that, those relationships. And, you know, I'm sure the same thing with your producer partners, you know, just the level of commitment. I mean, you know, like I said, we were able to keep everybody working, but it wasn't necessarily at the scale that we were used to. And a lot of our office, you know, like our office team in the US and Accra, our store in Accra was shut down for a while.
Mm.
And like, you know, so some of us had to take pay cuts to ensure that everything else could stay stable. You know, but everybody's committed, everybody's showing up every day and doing what needs to be done to keep each other safe and, you know, get the products out the door for those who are still looking for them.
Yeah.
And that, yeah, it has not been easy. It has not been easy, but we're getting there. I don't.
Yeah.
Have you, because we ship by air too, so I'm curious because you said you've seen the price increase and you were having, you know, the shipping was taking longer, and we were seeing that for a while because like the Accra airport was shut down for quite a while. And was that the same thing in India? Was it because of, you know, stuff being shut down, or was it because of just a higher demand, like with you know, like shipping by sea being more of a difficulty? Do you think more people are trying to ship by air, or what was impacting your delay there, do you think?
I think that in 2020 the delay was because there was just what I understood was there was just nobody in customs working.
Okay.
So because it seemed like they would just sit forever in customs.
Okay.
I mean forever for several days, which, you know, usually it should be like one day.
Right.
Unless if the paperwork is not correct, which
Yeah.
usually everything's fine. But recently, well, our September shipment was delayed because of Ida, which is separate. But recently I've just noticed that it seems like it's just everything takes like one day longer. Like it goes to like either Dubai or Germany from India.
Okay.
And it seems like it stays there one more day. And each, you know, and so I'm thinking that it's just there's so much shipments.
Yeah.
That there's like not enough planes.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it seems like to me.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting because we were having that time where our stuff would just be sitting in the Accra airport for weeks waiting for a flight for shipping anything. But then once the airport reopened, you know, but it was taking so long to get anything on a plane for that reason. There was just so much demand for space. But yeah, even now, I mean, it does take a little bit longer. You know, there's kind of that. And are you having to pay storage fees like in the time that it's sitting in?
No,
No.
no, because it hasn't been like this most recent shipment was, it wasn't too bad. It was like a week.
Okay.
A full week.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think we've ever paid storage fees.
Okay. Because pre-pandemic, we had gotten to the point where we would ship it out on Friday and we would be getting it in our US office on like a Tuesday. Like it was, stuff was coming so fast. But then, yeah, getting to this point where like, it's been weeks. Like, where is this stuff coming? And we're like, we promise it's coming. We promise it's coming.
I
So
know.
there's always something.
Yeah.
There's always something. I'm curious about, because you guys use a lot of plant-based dyes, correct?
No, we don't use too many plant-based dyes actually.
Oh,
Only for a few scarves. We mostly now use pigment, just yeah, like it's either an azo-free or an organic
okay.
man-made dye.
Okay. And so you haven't had any problems with accessing those around? Yeah.
No, I mean the costs have gone up.
Okay.
Yeah, but they've so far that I know of, they've been able to access those.
It's something. You know, if we
Yeah,
can get the fabric, right?
right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, thinking about that, yeah, it's like everything. Like, I mean, obviously we hit on the shipping and the fabric, but yeah, our like our labor's gone up because I mean, labor always goes up in India every year. There's
Yeah.
an increase, but their international their national shipping has gone up, so that affects like our fabric going to the tailor and all, all those little things that you don't even think about.
Yep. And by the time you add them all up, and that's like going to be the fun thing, our financial director, she's not looking forward to sitting down. You know, Kristen, she's not looking forward to having to sit down and look at all that stuff, because cost of zippers, cost of buttons, cost of thread, cost of shipping, everything is going up. And so incrementally, what is that going to mean for
Mm-hmm.
the end product? And then it's, so then that's just us, but then we also have to talk about, getting into stores, and they're paying increased shipping, and they're paying more for the product, and they're paying more for their staff help, and
Mm-hmm.
everything's gone up, right? So, and they're paying everything. It's all going to ultimately impact the end cost to the consumer. So it will.
Which, sorry.
Oh, you're good. I was trailing off anyways.
So I mean, yeah, that was one of my questions too, was what can the end consumer do to support us? And I think, one of the big things we're hitting on is to correct me if I'm wrong, but to be aware of this huge
Mhm.
price increase that is.
And understand why. I mean, I know my mom works in a furniture store, and she said thankfully most customers have been really understanding. She's got customers who are waiting a year to get their couch because again, they're waiting on steel, and they're waiting on fabric, and they're waiting, so, and more people are buying home goods than they have ever before. So it's, the demand's up, the supply's down. So same thing. Yeah, just as always, we want our customers, of course, to have patience and understanding and be aware of what's going on in the world, because it impacts all of us. And just give us a lot of grace over the coming year. And don't stop supporting us. Maybe typically you can only buy a couple things from us a year, and maybe that's going to go down to one, but buy that one, because we'll still need it. We'll need that support to keep the makers making, to make sure everybody gets to do their jobs, and that we can continue to the trickle down of that, right? Because as we're able to provide sustainable employment, that impacts communities. It impacts, children being able to go to school. And so that having those regular purchases makes a big impact on us. And, if you're usually buying from us for the holiday season, come back, get something, to keep that tradition alive. So, yeah. How about?
Oh yeah, no, I was going to just add to that, like, I mean, I love your ornaments, Global Mamas ornaments. And I'm thinking, well, if I can't get a Global Mamas ornament, maybe I'll get an accessory or a gift card or,
Right. Yeah.
And that's, I think a good way to support us is if your favorite product, we can't supply it to you, then get a gift certificate or,
Yeah.
maybe it's just, huh?
Certificates are a great idea. If you can't get what you want right now, absolutely get the gift certificate. If you don't need it, give it to somebody, and absolutely, then they can claim it when the ornaments are back in. Add March or something when we finally are able to get ornaments at a really weird time.
Right? Stock up on them in March.
For the next year, right?
Right.
That's a great idea. And that's, same thing, right? I mean, for Passion Lily, just keep showing up. We're so grateful to our customers, and I know you guys are too.
Yeah, I really am. I mean, we all love, I think, what we do. I know my team enjoys what they do, and they need more, they need the work to be sustainable. They have to have that continual work. So we have to keep moving forward.
Yeah. We keep writing the orders, even if they're not necessarily coming. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that will be, I imagine, have you started for spring 2022 production yet?
We're just starting printing fabrics probably like next week.
Yep, we're about the same. And so, but it's a scary place to be in, right? When you're facing these challenges and in the middle of them for fall, like you're still waiting on fall products, and we're still hoping we can make ornaments. But at the same time, we're like, well, we have to make the next collection to keep going, and hoping that, of course, that our store partners do really well this holiday season, so are able to place new orders for spring. So if you're not supporting us directly, please go, to your local 10,000 Villages or Fair Trade or ethical small business that has our products, and support them, because they want to stay open too.
Yeah, I see 10,000 Villages Overland Park on here, and
Oh, yeah.
they're great supporters. So
Yes.
all the 10,000 Villages stores are great.
There's so many good ones that we're so grateful for. I can't express that enough. I mean, all of our customers, from the store partners to an individual customer who comes back time and time again to, buy things for themselves or their families. Every purchase makes a difference.
Definitely, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love, I love both the retail stores, and I love the individual customers, and I love getting to know them, and especially I have the opportunity when they're in New Orleans, and I get to see them at festivals and things, and I have some now that it's like they're like, they show up in their Passion Lily dress, and I'm like, oh.
Yep. Has New Orleans been able to do, like, especially with everything, with the pandemic and with the hurricane, have they been able to kind of still host some of those, or?
There's been small art markets going on that are kind of really small, but the big ones haven't. So the Jazz Fest was, I don't sell it. Passionately does not sell at Jazz Fest, but Jazz Fest was a big one that it's normally in April. 2020 was canceled. 2021 was moved to fall, and we really were, the whole city was feeling very hopeful.
Yeah.
And they also moved French Quarter Fest. They moved like all the festivals from the spring to the fall. Okay. And they had to cancel them all because of Delta variant.
Yeah.
But I feel like I definitely think the city was kind of in a down spot around, it was like September, everything got canceled. But I feel like the city's a little more coming back to life, and hopefully safely. They're having their first parade for Halloween on Saturday. So that I'm personally a little nervous about it, but because it is a parade, and how do you control crowds,
Right.
But it'll be a good test to see if they can do Mardi Gras, because Mardi Gras is very essential to the economy here in New Orleans.
Yeah. So has it been 2 years without one, or is that?
Without a, no, it's only actually been 1 year without a Mardi Gras.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did they do the one in 2020? Was it that?
Mm-hmm.
Because Easter was early that year, right? Is that?
Yeah. I think it was like in February or something, and then it was like right after that. Probably nobody knew, but it probably a lot of the virus spread then, and
right.
Yeah.
It's wild, and we're almost 2 years right into all of this, and And I was reading an article the other day that was saying, you know, with the supply chain stuff, that it'll probably get worse before it gets better, you know, that we're trying to kind of readjust to the demand and the work shortages and all of that. Like, how do we not worker shortages, you know, like people not to work for, you know, for health reasons or economic reasons or whatever. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where we all, you know, stand in a couple years. And so I'm grateful for, you know, friendships between our businesses that, you know, we're lifting each other up and sharing each other's work and encouraging each other and sharing, you know, advice. I mean, I know I've reached out to you for help with like fabric suppliers and, you know, I think just I love that we're able to have those conversations. And we have another brand in Ghana that we chat back and forth with a lot. Like, hey, have you been able to get this, or how are you handling this situation, or whatever. It's a wonderful thing to be in a type of business space where we, in the grand scheme of shit thing, are probably each other's competitors, but we're friends, you know, and we support each other, and because we do kind of believe in that mindset of the rising tide lifts all boats, right? So with however we can move forward and help each other will benefit everybody.
Right. And I totally, and I agree, and I believe in that, because I think when we have similar missions and we're you know, we're teaching our customers and we're teaching the community the importance and the value of shopping ethically and shopping sustainably. And, you know, in reality, I'm even smaller than Global Mamas, but in reality, we're very small businesses compared to, like, I don't know, Forever 21, you know? So, I mean, if we can just take like a small portion of that business.
Yeah. We were just talking to, we have a university group that's helping us do some marketing research. And one of their questions was, who are your biggest competitors? And I was like, well, if we're really talking in the world, you know, I mean, we've got Target, we're up against Amazon, we're up against Walmart, you know, like those are our real competitors, you know.
Yeah.
Us over here, we're like, sure, in a fair trade store, it might be that like we're all kind of competing for space, but like, I'd rather by far you get an order than somebody, you know, than Walmart, right? So
right.
So we have a larger competitive base that we're as a whole facing. So
yeah, what'd you say?
I said we want fair trade to win, not global.
Exactly. Yeah, and we have to create kind of like a little army almost to
fend it off growing, right?
Yeah.
And educate and spread the knowledge and information about how we do business and why we do it that way. And as people, you know, become more interested in supporting the, you know, more ethical approach to get made, and that's when slowly we can pull them over to the light side, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right, because I think a lot of people really don't understand, like when I was talking about, you know, when I talked with other people, some people, about the pandemic and what was going on, and I can't get fabric, or my team is shut down in India. You know, their mindset is like, oh, just go find somebody in China, or go find somebody in Vietnam, or, you know, like, but that's not how our businesses work. It's not, yeah. We're not like a traditional or a fast fashion brand that like gives a garment to 10 factories and whoever has the lowest price takes the job. That's not how we do it.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a very different approach to doing business, and it impacts everything about how we function. I think that's a very valid point, because, and even most fair trade brands that I know of, if they were shut down, were trying to find ways to, if not fully pay their employees while they were out, compensate them in some way. You know, I mean, I've seen brands do, you know, they were doing like food packs for their employees, or brands do whatever, you know, literally whatever they could to support each other when there wasn't any money to be had. You know, nobody was buying things, and so you know, our stores were shut down for a while, and you know, it's like but we want to make sure everybody's taken care of, and so it is a very different way of doing business. Yeah. But we're still here, and like you said, we'll still keep moving forward, and we'll still keep doing our best to do everything the right way.
Exactly. I think that's Very well said. I think we should like sign off with that of like doing everything.
Let's keep, right? Do everything there as best we can, right? I mean, we all have the different challenges that we have to face, but we'll keep doing our best, right?
Right, right.
But I'm so grateful. Thank you for sharing this platform with us. And sorry again for the confusion of being on my own
Oh,
account, but
no, that doesn't matter because it'll save to mine and then I can send it to you guys to share.
yeah, well, I'm for sharing your platform and helping to educate our consumers as well. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for taking the time to join me and everything and chat.
Absolutely. Please tell your teammates sorry we took a lot longer than we planned. There's always good stuff to talk about, so hopefully it wasn't too boring.
I don't think it was, but I'm biased, so.
I enjoy it, but I was telling my husband, like, Katie and I have a lot in common. We're like, I think a very small portion of the weirdos left who actually like to grade by hand and do pattern by hand. Like,
yeah,
great chat. We have a lot in common.
we do. Maybe we'll do another IG live about pattern making.
Please, I would love to talk about pattern making. So.
Wonderful.
Well, thank you very much. And thanks to everybody who watched, and have a good afternoon.
You too.
All right. Bye.
Okay, bye.